welcome back to the Your Last Resort podcast with your host, Brandon Lejean, a.k.a. The Shoe Comic. This week, my guest, very funny comedian. He hosts shows in Santa Ana, produced by The Green Room. His name is Gino Riccardi. Thank you for joining the podcast. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Brandon.
Of course. Did I say your name right?
The Shoe Comic, Gino Riccardi. Yeah, you said it perfectly.
Perfect. I get nervous because I get people shit when they say my name wrong, and then if I say it wrong.
Your name is French, so it wants to be said wrong.
Yeah, it's completely like except when people pronounce my name wrong, I don't get offended at this point. I don't expect them to you know what I mean? To say it right. There's no reason. It looks nothing like it's spelled. It'd be honestly counterproductive to be upset when people.
So my worst name fear happened like last week.
What happened?
They have the mic audition at the Comedy Chateau.
Oh yeah.
And so I have some sets, clean, like tight and ready to deliver. And then he's like, and so because it's an audition, and that's the only reason I put my first and last name. I never put my last name because somebody will always fuck it up. Yeah. And they always fuck it up in the stupidest way. It's not like they say Riccardi or something like that. Yeah. So he said Gino Bacardi. Bacardi? Which, no matter how bad my penmanship is, you should be able to see either two bubbles or when the thing is a fucking tail. You know?
I don't get how you're going to get that confused.
So I don't really have a last name bit, and I'm just like, it's Gino Riccardi. It's no big deal. And I'm like, I tried to make that funny for a second, and it didn't work, and it fumbled the whole fucking set because you have 3 minutes to do it.
That sucks.
And I'm like, you know what? Just read the fucking goddamn names.
Yeah, it's not that hard. Yeah, and I same with me. I even though as shitty as my name is, I don't necessarily have a bit for how bad my name is. Yeah. So I just don't correct it. If they get it wrong, maybe at the end, or if I get on, they're like bringing up Brandon Legendare, and I'm like, hey guys, how you doing? I'm Brandon Lejean. A quick,
just a quick
there.
Yeah.
Because
that's what I should have. Just a quick hi, I'm Gino Riccardi. And I always look hi. That's kind of my whole. Yeah.
But it's little things like that will throw you off and fuck up your whole set, make things weird.
Yeah, especially when you only have 3 minutes. You don't have really time to
3 minutes
it easy.
Is so short. It's such a. I get it. I get that mics. It's an audition for that one, or there's mics that they do the 3 minute slots so they can get more people on, but. 3 minute spots suck. They almost feel pointless by the time you get a joke and a half, maybe, or if you're a quick 3 or 4 jokes. If you're a quick fire guy,
you can get just something in real quick. I don't know. I understand it, but it still sucks, and it really, it can't show them what you're up there for 10 minutes or 15 or whatever.
Someone's 3 minute set can be so different from their 10-minute set. They could be a terrible 10-minute comic, but they can kill those 3 minutes. Maybe they're not ready. It is a weird amount for an audition, I think.
Because 10 minutes and more, you're really being intimate with the audience. You want to make them feel like they met you. Yeah. And 3 minutes, just does this motherfucker have jokes?
Yeah, quick speed, almost speed dating,
pretty much speed dating. That's what I was calling it. Yeah, it's like speed dating.
Have you ever done Kill Tony?
I did it once. I did the very last California broadcast.
Oh, okay. And was it still? Were they letting people? They let you do it, but it was an empty.
It was empty.
Okay.
And there were, I guarantee if you watch it, there were laughs, but they were just all 50 feet away from me and the microphone.
Yeah.
And so it just felt sad.
That sucks, dude.
I was the very last person on it too.
Was he because obviously I haven't seen it, was he nice to you about it? Or was he do you think he was nicer because he understood that there were no one here, or did they use it more to shit on people because no one got laughter?
I find that he's actually, I didn't like Tony to begin with because he's just, he's a shit talker. Yeah. And not just a roast comic, but just talks shit, but I see that with the people there, he's actually very supportive. And he's like, okay, you've clearly been in it for 2 years, and that's actually pretty good for someone who's been in it for 2 years. Yeah. And with me, he's like, I'd say you've been in it 4 to 6, which I took as a huge compliment because he rounded up instead of down. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, that was a pretty solid set. I'm like, oh, okay, fuck yeah. But then, he continued to roast me on my set. And
I mean, that's what he's
just
gonna
because
do.
It was about being in an open relationship. He's like, other people are fucking your girlfriend. And other people are fucking her boyfriend. So what's your?
That's actually funny because I was gonna talk to you about that at some point. That is kind of the funny. That is it's a lazy insult comeback is to be like, you're a girl sucking other people. You're like, so am I. I'm not a cuck. I'm just we're just in an open relationship. It's different.
There's more functional reasons behind it too. I don't know how long you've been with your girlfriend.
Like we're coming up on 4 years.
On 4 years?
Yeah.
Like from I've been in like one long-term relationship before, and like after 2 years, it's like, I don't know, fucking isn't the most exciting thing anymore.
Yeah,
you
know? I get that.
And like we've done it all and been through it all, and so like at some point, like she'll get like resentful to me if like we're not fucking.
Yeah.
And like she'll joke about it sometimes. She's like, yeah, go fuck somebody else because I ain't gonna fuck you. And I'm like, but really sometimes, you know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think it takes a certain amount of like mental matureness, though, for sure, to be able to be in an open relationship.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
I think it's a compliment to you, though, because I mean, I guarantee you, like, not even though, because I'm sure there's a bunch of people that agree with you that, of course, as a relationship goes on, the excitement dies out, the lust, the sex, every part of it slows down compared to the first couple months. But I guarantee you 99% of people would be like, fuck, no, I wouldn't be in an open relationship. So I think it takes some matureness for you to do that, because I think it's better that you guys do that instead of the couples that just both cheat on each other and like everyone knows except for them somehow.
Because that's what pretty much I've seen most of the time ends up happening is people kind of like they give in to temptation because they're just done fucking each other, but they're not done fucking.
Yeah, it's not like you've soiled your oats enough so you're stopping. You're just bored of fucking who you're with, and I think people get like used to people. Like it's more the lonely aspect, because all these people who cheat, I feel like not like most of the people who cheat, they're just not happy in the relationship anymore. They don't want to like be in it, and it's just like, but they don't break up because you hang out with that person every day. Now you're not supposed to. You got to break up with them and like find someone new to occupy your time with.
I don't even think that's what it is. I think people just want to feel attractive.
That's a really good way to put it.
I think that's really most of it. Like, you're just like, do people still want me? I mean, this person's obligated to be with me. I don't even know.
Okay, yeah.
Like, if they fuck me, is it because like they're just horny, or is it because they actually like me? And,
yeah.
Like, I mean, there's so many aspects to it, and from what I actually found out, Tony, I guess at the time, was going through a divorce, and so he really took exception to my position, and he's just like, well, if your girl's perfect for you, then shouldn't everything be perfect? And I'm like, well, I mean,
you're like, you're projecting, Tony. Are you okay? Like,
I'm like,
what's wrong?
Yeah, like, really, I'm like, why are you so upset?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, because he was really like, I mean, and then he's like, does she wear a condom? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, why would she wear a condom? I'm like, well, okay. I mean, same reason I would wear it.
Do you need me to explain safe sex?
The same reason I wear a condom.
Now?
He's like, well, what do you like? AIDS isn't a thing. I'm like, well, AIDS is a thing, but so is everything else, like herpes and shit. But also, like, I mean, if you feel like there's not a safety aspect to it, then why would you ask in the first place? I feel like there's definitely some cognitive dissonance going on there.
Yeah. You like, struck a chord with them.
Are you concerned, or are you? I don't know. Yeah, it became something like difficult to get off of. And then I just kind of like ended it with like another thing I have in a bit, which is like plus my girl's kinky and she wants someone to tie her up and shit, and I'm lazy. I'm not gonna fucking spend an hour doing pre-cooking sex.
Yeah.
And then she can come home and she's like, hey, he tied me up, and I'm like, that sounds like a lot of work. That's great. I jacked off while you were gone, and it was a lot of fun.
It's very functional. I mean, it's one of those like. You know how things, I mean, obviously this is very vague, but things age poorly in all aspects. I mean, like one of them is like, you've seen it even phased out, is like how much, I mean, 25 years ago, God was a part of every aspect of society. Like everything was, I mean, you still swear on a Bible, you take the oath on a Bible, like all that stuff, but it was like more of a part. And then I think people more and more are like, well, why is this a part of our society? And I feel like you could see marriage eventually, not anytime soon, but fade out of it, because I think more and more people, especially like the younger generation, are getting on board with the idea of like, yeah, like you were saying, like, yeah, like it dies out, and like, why not, mix it up and change it up instead of making it toxic, making it like something more approachable and open,
making it obligatory.
Yeah.
I mean, and just to like clarify, like, it's not that like even the sex like because sex with a new person is like, I want to do this all the time. This is a new thing. And then it's like, I don't know. I've had lots of friends in my life that I would fuck. And then, but we would, it's not like we would do it every day. Like it would be follow the same course. Like we get to know each other and it's real exciting. We do it every day. And then we're just friends. And then like every once in a while we're like, hey, do you want to fuck or something?
Yeah, I'm
like,
bored.
It's summer and it's nice out. And I see a lot of sexy people out there. And why don't we fuck? And, but like, everything else in our relationship, I mean, The relationship is great. Like, we get along great. We make each other laugh, like, constantly. Like, she's the funniest person I fucking know. Yeah. It's ridiculous. That's why I try to get her up on stage more often. I'm just like,
no, she's super funny.
I'm like, you need to hone this thing because it's a crime that you just, like, that it's like she's like the I don't know if I've explained it to you this way before, but she's like the Looney Tunes frog for me. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, she only does it for me. Yeah. And then I put her in front of other people, and she's just kind of this, like, wild, crazy thing with a big bow in her hair. Yeah. You know? But I'm like, but you don't see the.
Dude, I'm the same way. Yeah. I tell my girl Erica, I'm like, you are hilarious. Like, you make me laugh harder than like 95% of people that do stand up. I was like, if you could take like your unintentional, just like, cause even the way she says things to me, like the way she delivers them, I'm like, that's an impressive delivery on that. Yeah. Like, but she's like, I would rather die than get up on stage. You know what I mean?
Jerry Seinfeld talked about that. He's like, the first biggest fear is public speech, and the second one is death. Yeah. So at a funeral, this is his joke. He says, at a funeral, you'd rather be the one in the casket than the one delivering the eulogy.
Wow. That's so true. That's how a lot. Yeah. It's people. It's were you always like kind of unfazed by public speaking, or did public speaking used to scare you when you were younger? Did it something you overcame?
It is something I guess I overcame. Like, I guess, you're a kid and you want to be entertaining or whatever. Yeah. I pick out little moments in my life that are like fucking cringe moments. Yeah. Where like I just like I was clearly acting out, like, I don't know, but
like, just you were trying to be funny.
I remember I was a kid and like you remember, I don't know if when you were a kid and like did you grow up Catholic or?
Yeah.
Did you have christenings and shit like that?
Or? Yeah.
So my little sister's getting her christening party, which is like a party that she doesn't know she's at. Because she's like a year old. Okay. Yeah. And so they have me on camera duty. I'm videoing the whole fucking thing. And then at some point, I just put the camera on one of the like table servers, and I do like a little stand-up act. I'm 9 years old.
That's so awesome.
And this is my opening line was like, so I walk into a bar. I mean, actually, it was a salad bar. I'm 9 years old, and then I just proceed to like trip myself like 100 times. Yeah, and fall over. And my friends found that one day when I was a teenager, and they're like, "Oh no!" They're like, "Dude, we found this video in your house."
Were they nice about it?
And I'm like, "Am I naked?" They're like, "Worse." No, they were not nice about it.
Yeah, I could not imagine young kids were like, "This is a cool thing he's doing. Let's be nice to him about it."
But like after a month of fucking with me, they're like, "Actually, it was legitimately funny." But like the scars were already there,
Yeah.
And they like kept the tape from me and shit, and they're like, "Yeah." But like things like there were like other like lots of cringe moments when I was a kid. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I've been this all along.
Dude, it's funny that you say that because like with me moving to Texas, my mom was just kind of talking to me about pursuing to become a comedian and all that type of stuff. And she pointed out, she was like, I'm not surprised. And I was like, what do you mean? She goes, I don't know. Growing up, everyone always just would comment that you were funny and you were always doing funny things. And then like you, I've thought back on like there was I took a public speaking class in college, and they made us do an exercise where you took 3 random cards and had to like give a speech or present something with the 3 topics to help everyone get over their fear. And I did it, and I got like Justin Bieber, lightsabers, and something else. And I got up and I pretended to be Justin Bieber and like sang a song about lightsabers. So cringe, but the class was like pissing their pants laughing. And I remember being like, I don't know what I'm doing right now, but I like that everyone likes what I'm doing. And like, I was in a public speaking competition in high school because I was just like, I wrote a good speech, and like, so just little things like that, how like you're saying, I started to think about it more and more. And I'm like, maybe I always have been the guy trying to make people laugh, even if it's super cringe. Because I can think of like,
well, when it's not honed, I mean, it's cringe.
Oh, 100. Right? I mean, yeah, because even like, there's open micers that you might see the first time and they're cringe, and then a couple months later they're a way better comic, and it's just it was like you said, unhoned. They were learning their craft of it and all.
I remember Louis G when he first started out. Like I'm like, oh, he's not gonna be like, he would just talk about shit, and then like flash forward a year later and he's like winning these little contests and shit, and it's just like, dude, he's like really funny. Like he's just naturally like he's up there, and just like his way of being is hilarious.
Yeah, there's a certain presence you have to have, obviously, besides like the joke writing, and I think that when you talk to most comics, they can probably find something that in a sense, like you're saying, led them or proof that maybe they were meant to kind of be a funny guy up there.
Yeah, you took a public speech class. I think I could benefit from that because I'm a mumbler, and I feel like that would really help just like my entire persona, just like like when I first started going to LA, like one of the most supportive people was Travis Clyburn. He used to host for the Fourth Wall.
Okay, yeah.
Before the pandemic kind of drove him back home to Ohio. Yeah. And he's just like, dude, I think you're great. You got these funny fucked up ass stories. You just need to turn the volume up like a notch. Yeah. You know? And I was just like, and I took that and I'm like, that's huge because he fucking hates like half of all people who like secretly because he's such a nice and polite guy. Yeah. You know.
I get the little comments, like that's why, you know, I'm still new in comedy, but as I get older, I want to give younger people as much advice as I can, because there's been so many little things that individual comics have given me that have like already helped me so much. Like one of them was like Galen gave me the advice of you gotta fuck the audience, like
little bit,
don't look down always because you're not asking them what's funny, you're telling them what's funny. And he told me that like a couple weeks ago, and I've been having like good sets, and I had we just did the road and I had a good set from kind of doing that I think that extra confidence it gives you where you're not telling it and looking down, it just has helped me like turn a corner in some capacity. So that's why I want to make sure that eventually when I'm in the position to give advice, I can give it to people, because it, like you were saying, that little thing helped you, it helped me, and there's other things that I'm probably can't even think of that helped me too.
Yeah. Anytime, because now I'm at the point where I see, you know, people getting just into it and they feel they feel like I'm a veteran, which I'm not. Yeah. And like I always put the little grain of salt in it that just so you understand, you're talking to another open mic comedian. Mm-hmm. We're at the same open mics right now. Yeah. So like any advice I give you, it's just like, this is something that worked for me, but like I can't clearly show you how to make it. Like I see like other people who have been miking and they're like on 6-7 years miking, and they're like, this is how you make it. And I'm like, hey, that guy's at the same mic you're at right now. Yeah. So he does not know how to make it.
Yeah. That's good advice right there though, because you're right. You're like, this is not me hating on anyone, but like, obviously I think that at 6 or 7 years, no starting comic would say they want to be an open micer still. Then you want to be doing gigs and getting gigs and at least an opener or something like that.
You want to be getting out there somewhere.
Yeah, you want to be getting out there.
Featuring or something like that.
So those 6 to 7 year guys always seem to be the like guys who try and tell people who are and aren't funny and start stuff and talk shit and like try and give these young comics like this aggressive advice you hear sometimes, and you're like, it's good to take in everything, but like you said, like, hey, do you want to be like him? No. Then you probably shouldn't listen to that person's advice too much.
I guarantee we're talking about the same people.
Well, off mic, I'll show you some names, because I don't need more beef with people, but I would. There's a couple that I could give you.
I wouldn't ever, because I secretly kind of like everybody, and that's part of the reason why. That's part of the reason to be a comic. The community of it is. You know, it really keeps people in that maybe shouldn't have been in there as long as maybe they were.
Which is cool though, because I mean, whether you're like, because like I want to be friends with all comics in a capacity. There's comics that I know like that I don't like, and I know there's comics that don't like me, but like I don't want to like see you and like on site we're like, fuck you, man. Like, dude, we're here to tell jokes and be silly. None of it's that serious. There's nothing like. It's not like when I used to play football and you got to out alpha the person or anything like that. So, I agree with you where you're like, you don't want to start shit with people, but there's people who you just are like, I don't really want to be around you.
Yeah. I having weird shit with anyone in a community is just like, I've had weird shit with like exactly 2.5 people, because one of them was that one chick, but
me and her had beef too.
Everyone, but like 2 other people who actually like get things done, and I remember like it was separately, and then I remember at some point they would always be in the same corner of the room, and I just wouldn't go to that corner of the room. Yeah, and I'm just like, I never want to have weird shit with anybody ever again. That's what
I'm saying, because it's like, okay, there's no way you can stop someone from not like you. There's going to be someone you meet in the next years that will hate you. It just is inevitable.
I find there are some types of people that take an immediate disliking to me.
Yeah, no, total. I mean, there's people who do that to a lot of, like, that's their thing is they don't like someone until they like them, which is such a terrible, weird way to live.
Yeah, I don't know, but like I don't know. Like I think it's actually like, I think it's the sound of my voice. I really think that's what it is. I think that makes, because some people, there was like one before I was a comedian. Like I remember we were doing ecstasy and on a campground, and this is like an opposite story. And this dude started getting, because they were telling him too much about how it's gonna make you feel. And when people like, it's just like, hey, it's gonna make you feel good.
Yeah, they scare the other. It's like, yes, this is a drug and it is intense. Now stop scaring this person.
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
Gonna cry.
So he started freaking out and he started throwing up. And he's on ecstasy. Yeah. And then I'm just trying to calm him down. And then I walk away and his girlfriend's like, is there anything else we can get for you? Is there anything else you want? And he's like, I know this sounds weird, but I just want to hear Gino talk. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what else to say after that. I'm very flattered. But I think there's an exact opposite of that with like some people. And they're like, why does he have to talk? Like I was just joking with some comics and like, because straight women don't like me. I don't know what it is. But like there was a straight girl in the car, and at some point she's like, Gino, you need to shut the fuck up right now. That's weird. And I was like, whoa, we don't know each other that well. Like, yeah. And then it was funny because there was like a little discussion about it in the car, and then another one said, "Is like Gino's got like an easy listening voice. I like Gino talking." And I'm like, "Yeah, some people don't like me talking." And then so they were like, the car was split down the middle. It's like we like hearing Gino talk, and the other half was like,
"Shut the fuck up."
Yeah.
That's wild. I don't mind. I think you have a nice voice. It does not annoy me by any means.
I'm glad. Thank you.
I think I also have a voice that can be, you're either like, yeah, it's cool, or you really hate it. My voice is so monotoned that I think there's...
That's what I got. I got the monotone.
I think there's people that can't... Yeah. Oh, maybe we're on the same page. Do you think people have no idea who's been talking this whole time? They're listening? They're like, what the fuck is going on right now?
So Brandon's having a podcast by himself. He needed one more episode before he leaves for Austin.
Just been running between mics. Hey there, guys. I'm Gino. Hey there, guys. I'm Brandon.
You're not going to trick us with 2 channels.
Yeah. Yeah. It's weird. I don't know. I also think, and this one bothers me because it only happens with males, is I think some people don't like me because I'm tall. Okay. Which is like, I mean, it doesn't, I don't think this happens in the comedy
On the other side
scene.
of that, definitely plenty of people like you just because you're tall.
That's also fair. You're right. Yeah. Okay, yeah, maybe I gotta look at a glass half full. I just always know that, like, when I go, especially when I go into like a bar, I'm like, there's one guy in here that wants to fight me just because
there's a short guy who wants to prove that he can kick your ass.
Yeah, so he can tell his friends, like, I beat the shit out of this guy who's 6'3", bro.
Especially if that person saw a woman look at you. And it's like,
yeah,
fuck that guy. Yeah.
For real. It's okay, man. This podcast isn't official.
Am I getting a phone call? Nobody.
Who's calling you? You should answer it.
I don't have the option to decline it. Look at that.
I hate when that does that.
This is Gino. I'm on a podcast.
It's gonna be one of those automated voice messages, huh? Is it a real person?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's cool. I can just edit this out. What is it?
It's funny because that was comedy related. Because
it was okay.
In the pandemic, we lost our space, and that
was R.I.P. Green Room.
That was the guy asking. He will ask. So can you start like paying us some of that money?
Yeah.
That you owe us, and I'm gonna be like, no, I owe 2 years of registration on my car because my girlfriend dropped the ball.
Yeah, you gotta have priorities, man. What's he gonna do? You know what I mean?
What's he gonna do? They could take us to collections. It's bad for your credit.
Oh yeah, don't do that then.
Yeah. My job said they're gonna come back in July 1st. I'll believe it when I see it, but I also feel like I have like a month deadline for some comedy goals.
That's good.
So I've really taken that seriously.
That'll be good, yeah, because I'm sure you work as a bartender, correct?
Yeah.
So I'm sure that
weekend nights.
Yeah, that's comedy time. Yeah. So I think you'll be able to make it work and balance, and I almost wonder if you couldn't eventually get something going at your job. You know what I mean?
Possibly.
Comedy related.
The show that we're doing has gotten good enough to where we can like begin asking for money. I don't know how much money. Yeah,
real quick, guys. Make sure you what's the show's presented by the Green Room. You do a monthly show in Santa Ana,
downtown Santa Ana.
And it's always a Wednesday.
It's always a Wednesday. Usually the second half of the month. Right.
Okay.
We're doing basically like the third Wednesday of the month or the second to the last Wednesday of the month.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's once a month, and the lineup is getting like better and better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I feel kind of weird. This next one doesn't have any Orange County comics on it, so I think I might have RJ host just to have an Orange County version on there.
Yeah, I get you.
But in my defense, this last one was all Orange County comics, and the Orange County comics are the only people who didn't show up. So,
that's shitty.
So, whatever you heard me say subliminally, I definitely said it.
Someone missed their spot.
Oh, someone missed their spot. Did you hear about that?
No. Do you want to share it and not use names, or should you tell me after?
Did I say that? I didn't say that. Did I think that? Did you feel that, or did you hear that?
It was the way you said. You said. I had one with the OC Comics last time, and that was the only one where some didn't show up, or some that you said.
I said the Orange County comics are the only ones who didn't show up.
Yes, and so then I thought you meant that
like
people missed
the seats were all full.
Oh.
And because I try to have at least half Orange County comics for the scene, and just so everyone,
That's dope though of you.
And half LA comics because I mean they've really just had more of a chance to hone it.
Yeah, no, I mean that you.
In most cases, they moved from somewhere else in the country so they can come to LA and
Exactly. I see you tiptoeing around it, but yeah, you're right. The LA comics normally are just more polished than the OC guys.
Not all of them, but
But some.
It's not that the LA comics are generally more polished. It's that it's easier to find more polished comics in that giant pool that is Los Angeles.
Fair enough. That's a better way to word it.
Yeah, because in any scene you're gonna find the same, people who are stuck at the same level. But in a bigger scene you're gonna find people who are at least a few people who have been more serious about it and built a lifestyle around it.
Yeah, really committed to I think that's the most important part. That's what I'm really prepping myself out there for in Texas is getting up every night. Because when I, pandemic's been weird, obviously, but pre-pandemic, I remember I was like, I got up 4 times this week. I'm doing great at comedy, which is, I'm not saying that's not bad, especially for a beginner, but if you want to be a comic, you got to get up almost every night, multiple times a night, if you can. Obviously.
I think some people have it they have one part of the formula, not the rest.
Yeah.
Because I find that some people they're like, I'm going to get up 6 times. And I'm like, I don't notice that it's making a difference with you specifically. Yeah. And maybe you want to focus on some other aspect of just the comedy and not just the repetition of
course.
Maybe the repetition of the bit, and the tweaking. And because I see a lot of people they have a bit and it's it's okay. But that bit's gonna stay the same no matter what, and it's maybe you want to. There are some jokes that you can turn around or word it differently or work on it. Is I guess all I'm saying. If you're gonna get up there 6 times, make sure that you're working on something, not just for the sake of getting up 6 times.
No, I agree. What's funny is I this is gonna sound dumb. I just kind of realized that what the concept of what you're saying, because I was thinking more as things were getting closer. I want to write every day, and it's okay, well. Do I need to have a new I don't want to have a new 5 minutes every day. And I was thinking what if I don't have any new thoughts? And I was and then I realized that I add punchlines as I do jokes, but that I need to try flipping things, writing new punchlines, really working on jokes that you're that's a good joke and turning it into an amazing joke, which I don't think I ever was not ignoring, but just, I don't know. My start of my comedy career is so weird. I was 4 months in, kind of catching steam, and then off for 6 or 7 months, and then
caught
back.
A lot of steam right away, and I think part of it is because you hitched yourself to Galen too, who's a real goal-oriented guy.
Yeah.
It
was cool. I consider myself very lucky because I was, 3 months in getting anchor bar spots and spots all around town, and people were booking. Before the pandemic hit, I had 8 shows that I was hi, I'm booked on for a month.
And you were producing a show.
Yeah, and I was producing a show.
Yeah, you were not even 6 months in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just being hard on myself for not
I waited 2 years to even think about producing a mic.
I don't know. There's part of me because don't get me wrong, when I started the mic, there were people that for sure were whoa, you're going too fast, and I'm sure there's people that thought that, but I don't know. I just I love comedy. I love comedy. I love listening to comedy podcasts where they talk about comedy. I like watching stand up. I'm fascinated by it. So I think for me, it was I was I understand that maybe some people wait, but I have an opportunity. So why not try to do it? Why not at least give it a shot? And so I don't know. I guess I'm just comfortable putting myself in uncomfortable situations.
I find that too. The first thing out of high school, I remember I've always been an extroverted introvert. So I'm I'm not gonna be the guy initiating conversation, but I love being around people. I get energy socially.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
So the first thing I did was I worked at a restaurant. So it's gonna just throw me out there.
Yeah.
And like all of my little fucking habits of like talking into my chest that had to fucking go away. Not being able to smile ever, that had to fucking go away right away. And like that was actually like I started stand up the first time while I was waiting tables, and I did great because I was able to like work out my shit.
Yeah.
At work.
That's an interesting thought, is being able to just kind of bounce it off normal people and get their ideas of stuff in a sense.
But there wasn't an Orange County scene, so
yeah,
I had to wait a little bit longer to actually get started.
I mean, yeah, it's honestly it's really cool that there's an Orange County scene, because I think like if there was only an LA scene, like I don't know if I would have ever started comedy living in Brea, being like, you know, not far but not close to LA, like it would have made it seem so much less achievable. So I think it's cool that there's an OC scene, and that you have that, you know, your monthly show that while this next lineup's only LA comics, you do give a lot of opportunity to OC comics.
Yeah. I'm trying to be careful about the next show after that, and like definitely put at least like 2 Orange County comics in there.
But like you were just saying that you just got to find the guys or girls that are going to perform. You know what I mean? Because that's what you were kind of saying, is that when you meant they didn't show up, is that they just weren't as there was like, on the same level.
There was one person who didn't show up, and it's fine because everyone can just do like an extra 2-3 minutes. And like nobody notices. And but I kind of blame the pandemic, because I think it's put this mindset, it's instilled this mindset in some people where they just kind of check in and check out of life and reality.
Yeah, I agree.
Here and there. So like I told him a couple months ago, but I mean, who remembers? If someone booked me in August, like would I remember? You know?
Yeah.
If they didn't, and like he didn't respond to any of the chats or anything like that, and I realized the night before, I'm like, holy shit, I don't think he's gonna show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And I was like,
you're gonna have to tell me who off mic.
That sucks, because he's one of the people that I really like, and as soon as I saw him, I'm like, I want to put you on the show because I'm glad to see you back.
Yeah.
You know.
No, but, I totally get you, bro.
But yeah, the show's really fun because the music really, you've been to it, right?
Yeah.
The music really like brings it up a notch.
No, it's super cool that you got a band there, and that they play people up and all that kind. It's a cool setup for a show, for sure.
It makes it feel professional. And last time, some people tipped us out, and I was able to pay the comics like a little bit. Like it's not really.
That's really cool.
It's not really pay, but it's like enough to say like, hey, I was able to, you know, buy a drink and pay for gas.
I did that road gig in Fresno this weekend. The only thing I got paid for was my gas, and Galen at the end of the show from his cut gave me $5. So he was like, hey, you made money doing comedy. $5 doesn't do a goddamn thing for me. You know what I mean? It's symbolic. But it's the symbolic sentiment and it meant the world, because it's like, I made money off comedy. Yeah. Like no one can tell me that like this is, I mean, I understand it's $5, but it's kind of that rite of passage. You're like, I'm a comedian. I did a road gig and I made some money. Like that's a lot more than a lot of people can say.
Also, this thing that we do is very difficult, and I don't like how normal it is for people to just not make money. Yeah, it's just how you can go years just being basically a free act, and like you're supposed to just be like, it's the you're supposed to just be happy you're on this, or you get like some chicken tenders or a free drink or something. Yeah, I would be happy to. Sometimes there's a mic and they're like, oh, you get a free drink. I'm like, oh, you mean you like us? You mean you kind of sort of respect us and what we do? And thanks, I appreciate it. How hard we had to hone something just to like come here and be able to tell it to you. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, because that's the craziest part. I mean, even like, because even if you're asking someone from like from OC to drive to like North Hollywood or something, they're taking time out of their day, and all those people that you sold tickets to, or you're just at the bar now buying more drinks because they're having a great time because of these comics. Yeah. The comics get nothing. Oh, they get stage time. I get that, but it is kind of a little unfair. Yeah, Bill Burr was saying, he's like, I've gotten paid a lot in exposure. A lot of payment and exposure. Yeah. I've been exposed to everybody. I don't know. It's funny because he was talking about the muscles that the pandemic brought, which is if you were doing comedy during the pandemic, which a lot of people might call you a grandma killer or something like that. Yeah. But like you had to like strengthen some muscles. What he was talking about was like, I became a better comic because like I'm doing these outdoor shows and you really just have to deliver. There's no space. And so I'm in here, I'm in the Comedy Store in this comfortable environment, and it's just so easy. I've been training with weights for a year.
Oh, that's okay. You know what's?
He said those are the muscles that you build when you're just cutting your teeth. Because you got to do shows at like restaurants and places where like people didn't know there was going to be comedy, and you got to win them over.
I mean, yeah, because like holy shit, like I think back to like early on in the pandemic, like doing you know park shows without microphones and doing comedy on the side of bars and people not wanting to listen to you and all that. And then like, cause even though we couldn't get it up as much in the pandemic, like when I got to my first show of the pandemic, I had like such a good set, and I was like, I felt like I hadn't been getting up enough to deserve that, but it's because it was this newfound territory where your set has to be over those kids playing kickball, and that mom, like even at your mic, the Hillcrest Park mic, like so many times, like halfway through your set, you're like, well, gotta stop saying fuck because there's like a family of 4 coming up the hill right now.
A lot of times people don't stop saying fuck.
One time I like told, I think I yelled at I said, someone was like, they're cussing, and I was like, well, they're the ones who showed up to my open mic, so that's not my fucking problem. And the mom did. I thought the mom might be like, ha 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 ha, but no, they did not.
They didn't care for that.
I was like, uh-oh.
It's funny because the parents look like they don't they don't perceive what's going on.
Yeah.
And the kids are always like, that guy just said fuck 6 times in a row.
And he's talking about fucking
balls, nuts. Yeah. And they're just like, there's something going on over there.
And the parents are like, we're the only fucking people in this park. And you're like, no, you're not.
Shut up. We're about to climb 5 stories of stairs so I can make you sit in a bathroom.
Those stairs are brutal. Yeah. I want to move into the first segment of the podcast real quick. It's called the Avid Deserter. I have you name your 3 favorite and your least favorite dessert. Yeah. Just don't be a basic bitch and be like, I like cake, cookies, and ice cream. What kind of cake? What kind of cookies? What kind of ice cream? You know what I mean?
I like
what's your number 1?
Cookies that are made of cake with ice cream and
and everything that's not that is my least favorite.
My favorite desserts I like. Okay, so I'm a coffee addict, so I like everything that goes with coffee. So
yeah, I seen you with the little cookies and the coffee.
The coffee is the reason why I can't put down desserts, and that's why I still have like a belly-ish.
Yeah.
But I mean, like creme brulee. That's like yeah.
That's one that weirdly, like, people, like, a bunch of people have been like, that's my favorite, but a bunch of people have been like, fuck creme brulee. I don't know why.
They don't like the hard candy shell.
Yeah.
It freaks them out.
Yeah, it's normally it's the texture that gets people with that one. I don't mind. I don't not like it, but I don't love creme brulee. I think I need to try it now that I'm like older. I haven't had it in a couple of years.
Sure. I mean, it's all about the brulee. I mean, the creme is like whatever. Yeah. You know? They mix it all together and they put like a ripe strawberry on top, some mint leaves or something like that. Mm-hmm. I try to do it myself. You know what I've done at home because I'm bougie as fuck? Yeah. Is a creme brulee latte.
Whoa, that sounds good. Yeah, okay.
I sprinkle some brown sugar and torch it on top, and it's
is it good?
It's incredible.
That sounds amazing.
Because I also do it with like evaporated and sweetened condensed milk.
Look at you, fancy little bougie coffee girl.
Fuck, bro. Look at these shoes. They don't lie.
Look at my shoes.
Look at my motherfucking shoes.
What's your second favorite?
Dessert. Yeah, I like cheesecake. You know.
Okay, yeah, just like original New York. It's hard to go wrong with just like an OG slice of cheesecake. I like a little drizzle on it or some fruit on top.
Yeah, like a white chocolate, like raspberry, like that kind of thing. Yeah. Oh, and Oreo cookies and cream ice cream. That shit's my poison, dude. Actually, my number 1 favorite, I don't know if you call it a dessert, but like my go-to candy, which is like an opiate to me, is Reese's peanut butter cups.
Okay, you know, yes, that's a dessert, and like it's funny because there's a whole episode you guys can go back and listen to if you want. Me and my dad pretty much just argue for 50 minutes on here about whether it's a Reese's peanut butter cup
or a candy bar.
Yeah, I did. I had him on one time and it was fun. Yeah. You know, he's got the local shop and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And then he was on again.
That's right, because he had the show at his shop, right?
Yeah. And then I did like during NFL season, I had like football fan guests pick division winners, and I was like, whoever gets the most right gets to come back on and have a victory lap. And my dad picked the most right, and I brought him back on. He's like, yeah, I don't even remember who the fuck I picked. Like,
that seems fixed as fuck.
No, it did. Especially, dude, there's a point in the original one where I had him pick it. I was like, so who from this division? Yeah. And then silence occurred for so long that I had to go, okay, Dad, 3, 2, and he was like, and whoever he picked, I forgot, won that division. He got lucky as fuck.
That was the fucking that was the universe speaking to him. He's fucking silenced out for. That's what happens sometimes.
Yeah.
You ever get that? You get that feeling like something's gonna happen, and it does. You're like, oh, okay. The universe just spoke, and so he doesn't remember what he said because he didn't say it. It just like happened through him.
Yeah, or like
and it's lucky you have it on record because everyone else would be like, dude, you fucking fixed that
you
shit.
cheater.
Yeah.
But I forgot what I was. Yeah, but me and him were arguing about whether that's a candy bar or not. But it's 100% a dessert. Those are good. Have you ever had the Reese's Take 5?
I guess I don't like candy bars, so like I couldn't call it a candy bar. Like the Take 5 is a candy bar. It's a good candy bar, but like there's something about candy bars that's just so. I guess normal is the only word that comes to my mind, you know?
Yeah.
And Reese's is just this explosion of like sugar and peanut butter and flavor, and I can even put peanut butter on top of it for added.
Wow, have you had the new ones where it's just a cup of peanut the all peanut butter?
I've seen the peanut lovers, and I don't know how I feel about that. Trader Joe's improved on it, making it dark chocolate.
Ooh, okay.
And also so I can have just a couple of them, but I still end up having all of them.
Yeah, okay, I guess there's nothing you can do if you eat all of them, but dark chocolate does make you feel like less a piece of shit if you eat it.
I don't know. It's just I like dark chocolate. It's just that little bit of bitterness that I have, like the giant Trader Joe's dark chocolate at my house, and I have that to try to quench my dessert, my sweet fix. So like at night, I'm having a sweet fix. I just have like one of those squares with some peanut butter and shake it with some milk.
I'm so bad with sweets at night. What I do is I buy those, like, they do like 7 for $10, those Yoplait yogurts.
Yeah.
And then I buy like a granola, and so if I get hungry, I try to do like yogurt and granola.
Also, you try to make it good for you. It's still got a ton of sugar in it, but
and I still half the time go, I don't fucking want that yogurt, and I grab the cookie instead. But like
yogurt, why am I having yogurt at night? What am I?
Yeah, this is bullshit. I want a chocolate. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm bad. Yeah, the thing though is I'll eat less sweets when I move out because I have to just not buy them. I have to like take them out of my house like an addict. But the problem is my sister works at a gourmet cookie shop, so there's always cookies here.
Oh my God, really?
And yeah, I'll give you. There's so many cookies. I'll give you some when you leave because I don't.
We live across the street from an 85C.
Ooh.
And so like the coffee and the desserts are right there, and they're not always the best ones. The best ones are a little more expensive, but it's like everything else is like half the price of Starbucks, so you're kind of spoiled on it.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
What's your least favorite dessert?
Oatmeal raisin cookies.
Ooh, okay, that's a good one. Yeah,
why would you like the oatmeal is a good cookie? Why do you need to fuck it up with raisins?
Raisins are gross. I don't know.
My family, everyone in my family loves raisins too. I don't know what's wrong with them.
Yeah, when I growing up, I used to stay at my grandma's a lot when I was younger, and her snack thing, she always had fucking boxes of raisins, and like I'd eat all the other snacks, and then it'd just be like a drawer of only raisins. And there's always that like sad like day or two where she hadn't hit the market yet, so my choices were raisins on raisins, and I just had to.
Yeah. I remember the first time I tried Raisinets, and I'm like,
so misleading.
Why?
You put them in your mouth, and you're like, okay, this is good.
You have a ball of chocolate, and you fuck it up with raisins.
You know what I had that was pretty good?
Yeah.
They're I think they sell them at Trader Joe's too. They're the acai blueberries coated in dark chocolate.
Yeah, I started fucking with those
really
for a little
good.
bit.
I like those a lot.
Yeah.
Shout out AJ Santos. He put me onto those.
He put you onto those?
Yeah, I met his mic and was feeding me, and I was like, these are delicious.
That's some good shit. Yeah.
All right, man. That's the Avid Deserter segment. I appreciate you sharing those. There was something I wanted to talk to you. You go down to TJ for dentistry, right? I saw you down.
Yeah.
What is that? What's that like? Is it scary, or am I just being a white guy? Is it like, I feel like it's so much work. I just want to know. I want to know everything about it. Is what I want to know.
But it saves so much money. It's work, but it saves so much money.
So do you drive to the border and then walk across?
So now I used to take like the Greyhound, but then there's the pandemic.
Yeah.
So now I rent a car.
Okay.
And drive my own ass down there. I hate it because like no matter being a comic, like you have a job.
Yeah.
But I've always been like, all of my jobs, no matter how much they paid, have always like had me wake up at like 10 a.m. is early to wake up for me.
Yeah.
You know? But now, like, I'm a comic, and with the pandemic, like, I just lose my schedule easy. Like today, I went to sleep at like 5:30 a.m.
Jesus. And
so I woke up at 2:30 p.m. to your. It's just like, are we still on for today? I'm like, I'm so glad he sent me that, because I would have just been like eating breakfast at 3:30, and I'm just like, Brandon.
Yeah, no,
like,
I know you enough now. I know you live a weird like backwards schedule, so I
get shit done, and I try to make every waking moment count, like be productive. But like, it's when does the waking moment start? You know, this kind of can really fuck things up.
As long as you get shit done, dude.
If you wake up at 2 p.m., you got about 2.5 hours for the world to stay open for you.
Yeah. Shit starts closing at 5. Especially
run errands
business, like businesses close at like banks and shit like
DMV.
that. Yeah. A lot of dentist places.
Yeah.
Damn.
I don't understand why all those places like have the same business hours as everyone who works too. That never made sense to me.
Yeah. We're like, hey, this is a working man's business.
Yeah, it's like,
let's close it when everyone's off.
Yeah, like the bank.
Yeah.
Why is the bank not just open at nighttime? More criminals are out at nighttime. Bullshit. I used to be a criminal, and I did all my criminaling during the daytime, so don't give me that shit.
Yeah, well, also, like, especially, like, I can't believe on Fridays they don't stay open till, like, 8 or 9 with everyone getting paychecks and getting off work. Like, they should have extended out. Don't you want our money?
Yeah, why do you make it so hard for me to give you my money? Just take my fucking money.
They do the mobile deposit shit now, but they're like, your check will be processed in like 19 days, and then you'll have your money in 50 days, and all that shit.
And it's like, hey, we're Bank of America, so go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Shout out Bank of America. Go fuck yourself. Bank of America owns like half of everything. But anyway, I don't want to get into that. So I go to Mexico. I take a rental car. You usually, by default of me having the smallest, least expensive car that can still legally be called a car, every car I rent is pretty much kind of performs better than my car.
Yeah.
Or performs at a higher level than my car. And so it's fun in that regard.
Yeah.
But I get down to the border. It takes me 2 hours to get there. It takes me an extra like 20 minutes to half an hour to like get to the dentist place because it's just right there at the border.
Yeah.
I've got it down to a science because I get to the border. I walk across, which takes like a minute. And then there's like a shuttle. I can take a taxi where they take it for granted that you don't know how much taxis are supposed to cost. So they're going to charge you whatever. Which is like $10 in Tijuana. It's not as bad as like here where they would charge you $60 or something like that.
I remember when I was in Mexico. When I was in Mexico, I remember we went to ask for a taxi, and the guy, like, I could tell he got kind of excited when he saw us, like, because we're all just white Americans, and he was like, $20 there, 20 back, and it was like 20 miles, and we were like, oh, okay, that's fucking dirt cheap in America.
In America,
So like, yeah, sure, man, I'll give you a tip too. So
he's like, dude, I just made $100.
Yeah, I remember he was actually really nice because I remember like we used him like 5 times, like probably paid like $100 round for all the trips, and he was like, this is the most money I've made in a weekend in a while.
If you can have one person who speaks a little bit of Spanish with you, it'll save you a lot of headache.
Oh, it's so nice because we've gone with like we go with a Spanish speaker, but there's always only like 1 or 2. So when you're not with him, you're just an infant child walking around.
Yeah.
And like I took 3 years of Spanish so I could not get lost and know in a sense like that's this and that. But like by no means can I like go have a conversation with like a normal Spanish speaking person. I can be like, how do I get there? Which way? Like the most basic shit if I have to.
It's like I get lost in conversation with little words like if and but, you know what I mean? Like so like my sentences are like these blocks, these self-contained sentences, and like they don't invite like exchange too
I get
much,
you, yeah.
But like I pronounce well, and it's like one of my first couple sentences, they're like, oh, this guy speaks Spanish, and then like one more thing comes out, and they're like, no, you don't. And by now they're used to people like me. They're like, yeah, you're one of those like whitewashed, like your parents speak Spanish or something like that, you know.
So when you get to that, how much is it for like normally?
There's the taxi that can charge you whatever, but there's a shuttle that costs 50 cents that takes me directly to the dentist.
Yeah.
And so everything costs like mine isn't the cheapest one, and I don't want the cheapest one.
Yeah, of course.
But it's still a half to a third as much as it would cost here.
Yeah.
For pretty much anything.
Okay.
And so where a dental implant costs like $4,500 here easily, it costs about $2,300 over there.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, in total, like all the procedures and stuff.
Yeah.
And also, like the teeth, the like crowns tend to fit better. You know, like when I had them done here, like the very first day, I'm like, dude, I'm getting like a pound of meat like underneath my tooth. Like, what the fuck is this? Yeah, it was
like coming almost loose and shit.
Yeah, like first, and then so I have to get it replaced, and they're like, it's another $1,000 for another tooth, and I'm like. And over there, like, I had a problem, and they're like, oh, well, that's cool. This one's on warranty, so it'll be free. I'm like,
oh, wow.
There's a warranty? I bet they all have warranties.
Yeah, what
the
fuck?
Fucks. Yeah.
Dude, I pre-pandemic, I go to the dentist, and they tell me I have 6 cavities that aren't cavities, but they're going to fill them anyway. And I was like, what the
yeah. I've had like fake surgery, and I've paid for it because it by now became an implant. I found out later that it was fake surgery because this is what happened to me in the U.S. This guy, like, so they're like, yeah, so I'm a pretty good patient, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I come back, like, 6 months after my cleaning, and he's like, you need a root canal. I'm like, 6 months ago, I didn't even have a cavity. So you're telling me now I need a root canal?
Yeah.
And it's been, like, a minute, you know? And he's like, well, we'll have the orthodontist, and there's all these dонtists. There's periodontists, there's endodontists.
Yeah, there's like 19 fucking
maxillofacial
dentists.
fucking, I don't know. There's just a bunch of guys who want to stick a 4-inch needle in your face.
Yeah.
But, you know, and so they have me come in, and the guy's like, is there sensitivity? And I'm like, I mean, it doesn't hurt. They're like, and he starts like tapping on my tooth real hard. It was like,
now it fucking hurt?
Now do you feel something? I'm like, yeah, but
you're stabbing me.
I'm not. Yeah, you're stabbing me in the tooth. And he's like, and then he just looks at me. He's like, so do you want the root canal? I'm like, and you know, you're working and shit. You don't have time in your life to like, do I get a second opinion? Like, do I set up another appointment to give up half my day, like 2 weeks from now, and then come back to this guy? And then what if it actually gets worse? And anyway, so I got a fake root canal. And then so the next person, like, I went to, he's like, you have two. They're the beginnings of cavities, like you said.
Yeah.
And they're not really cavities yet, but I'm going to fill them. And he's going to charge me like $300 a piece for that. Which
that's what happened. Yeah. It was $2,000 for 6 of them. And I was like, get the fuck out of here.
And that's what they were going over pricing with me. And he's like, yeah. So I was going to get the crown is $1,000. And then these 3 cavities are $1,000. I'm like, $1,000. And then so when I went to Mexico, I had him like give me x-rays and shit. I'm like, what about these 2 teeth? Is there anything there? He's like, no, you clearly take good care of your teeth. Like,
bro, I went to a different dentist in Brea, and they were like, yeah, you have 1 cavity. Yeah. And like a half one that will add a precaution. And I was like, how did I? And the place I went to, a year passed. Yeah. And I definitely eat more sweets now. Yeah. So how did I go from 6 cavities to 1 when my dental hygiene arguably slightly declined in the pandemic?
And they give you a fake ass filling, and it turned into a real problem.
Yeah,
because
that
now
sucks.
You're missing part of. Anyway, the motherfuckers, mechanics and dentists and doctors too. Like, I just like, you have to take their word for it, and I fucking can't stand it.
Yeah, there's no way for you to be like, you're kind of ripping me off. Like, their word is bond, which is annoying.
Yeah, but you just now. But I always promised myself I'd like go back and sue that guy for malpractice.
Yeah,
because he never did any work on me that I didn't need to get done again the next year.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. He's a piece of shit. And I remember the last time I saw him, he looked at me like it was my fault, like shit was going wrong. Like, like I did teeth wrong or something. You're doing teeth wrong. Yeah. This guy, I don't know what's up with this guy. His teeth, he does it wrong.
Yeah, dude. I mean, yeah, if you just like brush and floss, like you could take, it's all, I mean, it's not like you have to do crazy shit. They act like we're like apes. And we don't know how to take care of ourselves or anything sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know. They're just, I don't know. It's a hustle is all it is.
Gotta respect the hustle, I suppose.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you gotta respect it. You gotta recognize it. Definitely. Yeah.
All right, man. I want to move into the original segment of the podcast. It's the Would You Rather. So we're gonna do. Normally I start off with one, but
I'm gonna tell you right now, I fucking hate Would You Rather.
Oh, cool. But if it's all right, 3 of them. So get ready for them. And you're going to fucking pretend like you like them. You're going to sit here and eat your food.
All right, serve me the Would You Rather.
All right, first one. Would you rather always have to poop in the sink or wash your hands in the toilet? They're all going to be ridiculous like this, just so you know.
They're all going to be ridiculous. I guess I would rather wash my hands in the toilet because the toilet doesn't touch shit until shit touches the toilet.
Yeah, you could I used to have to clean my dad's shop, so I'd have to clean the toilets. So like, I got used to the fact that like once you flush it and scrub it, it's just kind of a bowl of clean water. I'm also thinking about imagining trying to mash my shit down the drain and stuff.
That was the first thing that came into mind.
The cleanup process.
I've been through that in my mind. It's like, do I take a shit in the toilet? But it's like, then I got to take the shit out, or in the sink. Then I got to take the shit out of the sink. Yeah. And I just hope that I have solid shits today, you know? I mean, I usually do, but I mean.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, you could at least, you got the running water. You could almost make like a makeshift bidet out of the sink.
You ever get to know people a little well and you realize how fucked up all of us are? Like,
yeah, is this right here for you? You're like, what the fuck kind of question is this? What podcast? Fuck this guy.
No. A friend of mine, he was like, yeah, I took a shit and it wouldn't flush down. And I'm like, oh man, is it still there? He's like, no, I mashed it up with my hand. I'm like, like, bruh. Hey, dude, do you have a fireplace? Like, poke at it with something. Use a spatula, anything, like your hand. He's like, well, what else are you gonna do? I'm like, all the things I just said.
I'd spend money on a plumber before I mash it with my own hand.
Well, I need everyone here to know that this guy touched shit today with his hand, and he's not good to shake hands for like a month.
Yeah, that's so gross.
I don't know if you ever got shit on your hand before, but soap and water doesn't wash that shit off right away.
No,
that's why I don't understand how people be so eager about eating ass. Yeah, so what? You washed your ass today.
That's just dirty.
It takes like a month to wash shit off of ass.
But
apparently
that's gross.
people are pretty healthy, you know.
Yeah.
They seem to be all right, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I would, I just pooping in the sink. Imagine, like, I feel like there'd be so much less shame too if someone walked in on me washing my hands in the toilet versus me with my ass up on the sink shitting in it, like legs up on the side would look a lot more sad than.
I feel like if either of those things were happening, like someone else would be in a similar situation. They'd be like, "You chose wisely."
Yeah.
Like,
if you explained, they were like, "What are you doing?"
Or they would be like, "You did a would you rather, didn't you?"
Yeah.
And now you're stuck this way.
Yeah.
You have the curse. So
if you were washing your and they looked at you like, "What are you doing?" and you're like, "It was this or shitting in the sink," they'd probably just close the door and leave you alone. They'd be like, "I get it, bro."
Like, I don't even want to talk to anybody about this because how am I gonna explain what I saw?
For real. All right. The next one. Would you rather know every language known to man, or know every instrument, and you can know sign language too, so you get a little bonus language?
That's tough. I love both of those things.
They're both there's both like eloquent features of them where like it'd be so badass like at your show, like what if you were like the band could have a break for a second, you went up there and you played like the fucking standing bass for a second, and then you hit the drums and then like doing all that, but it would also be so sick to like know every language, knowing people were talking shit on you.
Yeah. Well, the whole people talking shit. My parents have like all of a sudden, because I was raised white, but all of a sudden now because they're old, they're ethnic. All of a sudden now,
they just leaned back. They're like, we used to pretend it, and now
they're like,
we're gonna be who we want to be.
And they all speak Spanish when they go out, and but it bugs the shit out of me because I think it's like a rude thing to do. But like because they've spoke English my entire life, and they'll start talking shit on people, and I'm like, hey, we live in Southern California. Everybody knows Spanish.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah. Russian, for sure. Talk all the shit. Yeah. But Spanish, there's a chance your server took 3 years of mandatory language.
Yeah, if you're Portuguese, whatever. Yeah, Spanish. Yeah, everybody here has at least taken Spanish.
And everyone also has Googled all the offensive words and knows only those.
Yeah, they know at least the ones to listen for if they don't know the whole fucking thing.
Yeah. You know? That's a really good point.
I love language. Learning Italian helped me learn Spanish because I really didn't learn Spanish until I worked in a kitchen.
Yeah.
So now I know 16 words for dick. And I always promised myself I would learn French. I love languages. I love languages. Yeah. I love trying to understand languages. Rachel knows like Japanese for no reason.
That's really cool.
And because she was just like a hardcore weeaboo when she was a kid.
Yeah.
And so because she knows Japanese, she understands some about like Chinese kanji and just what makes the Asian languages different from our languages and like the whole thing. Like if you understand, like I took a linguistics class which helped me understand the rest of it very like even better, which is like the difference between like alphabetic like language systems versus like character language systems and morphemes, and it's like I fucking love it. Like it's so awesome and useful.
Yeah,
it's incredible. But I also love music, and so I know how to play piano and guitar, and I know how to sing to some extent. Like I can sing, I'm not great at it.
Yeah.
And like if I could learn more instruments, I would just like I love both of those things. I don't know what I would pick. I guess would depend on my situation in life.
Yeah.
Like, am I gonna travel or am I if I'm staying here, I'd learn all the instruments.
Yeah.
And I would just become a kick-ass songwriter because I do have like. I'm pretty sure I would make like a great music producer because there's what enters into it. What people don't understand is like taste.
Yeah.
You know, and so a lot of people that I notice who are like really proficient in one or more instruments, like they really have this kind of like they understand it the way a mechanic understands a car.
Yeah, yeah. Like people who learn piano first, they say like can read most music because it's like that's what it stems from. Like that's the easiest instrument to learn.
It's the mother instrument because you're working on all the clefs. There are other clefs, but like, you kind
like the basics.
You understand at least all the basics.
Yeah.
And so you also right away you get an understanding that most people don't get of harmony and chord construction and shit like that. But so I guess that's dependent. If I'm going abroad, I would definitely learn all the languages. And I would seduce, and I would go to countries where only short people live, and so I would be a tall person there.
Yeah.
And I'd get that tall privilege. Oh yeah, dude.
That'd be yeah.
I'd go to what, Spain or
Spain's got it. Yeah. Or where's Napoleon?
Does Spain have
from?
short people?
Where's Napoleon from? What was he?
Napoleon was. I mean, Napoleon.
I mean,
he was actually Italian, but he went to France.
Yeah, but I feel like he came in a lot of people in that area, so there's short people kind of.
You think he fucked a lot of people? I feel like
maybe he was too short.
He was so bad at getting pussy that he probably had a complex about it.
Yeah.
At some point, he's just like, you know.
Well, I mean, let's also not pretend like a lot of sex back then was consensual between like people like him. And
let's not pretend. Yeah, it was either hookers or
like
rape.
Genghis Khan wasn't just a ladies' man. He was just he just raped people.
Yeah, he was big on the rape game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would go, getting away from the subject of rape.
Yeah.
I would
good call. Good call. Good call.
I would go to the short people. I would find out what the short people countries are. I would go and just drop some dick in the short people countries. And,
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
okay. Yeah.
That would be, yeah.
Those are good. Yeah. I guess you're right. It is very circumstantial of which one you would pick.
Yeah. But if I'm here, I'm learning all the instruments.
Okay.
Yeah.
My this next one, I normally I get a lot of my would you rathers from Reddit because I'm not creative enough to think of 3 new would you rathers every week.
A person like me, I'm a writer. I should be on Reddit.
Yeah, Reddit. I mean, Reddit's so easy to get lost on, just reading like the most random shit, like arguments about. Yeah. For me, I try not to get into it too much because it's just another social media for me to open and lose hours of my day on, just like Facebook and all that shit. But I skip ones like this normally, but I felt like it was perfect for you. It just said ass or titties. And your Instagram is great because you give us some political knowledge that some people like and some people are like, why? But then you will always reward our reading with titties.
It's a palate cleanser.
Or ass, yes. Yeah. It's a beautiful, I look forward to it. Like when I open his story and there's political stuff, I'm like, let me read this. There's a reward at the end.
There's a candy reward at the end.
Yeah, dude, you've trained me like Pavlov's dogs or whatever. Instead of a bell, it's an Instagram post.
I'm so glad people are paying attention.
Yes.
Yeah, like what I'll do is I'll put 2 political, if I have 2 political posts, which I try to stay away from political stuff on Instagram because Instagram's supposed to be about good, warm feelings and marketing yourself.
Yeah.
But like if I see some political posts that speak to me, and I'll repost them, and if there's 2 of them, I'll put some like fantastic titties right after them as a reward and a palate cleanser. They're just like, please still love me. I also enjoy titties, and I think in my life I've been an ass man, and it's not just that I've been an ass man, but big asses are attracted to me.
Okay, fair enough.
Every girl I've ever Rachel having a small ass is like a new thing.
It's an anomaly.
When I met her, she used to hike a lot, and she had this giant ass.
Oh, so she lured you in.
Her ass lured me in. We lured each other in because it's a magnet. We're attracted to each other.
Yeah.
There's not one or the other. Like the girl I lost my virginity to, she was like all ass.
Okay, yeah.
And like the next girl I dated also, she was like a tiny girl with a big ass. And ass has always been attracted to me. I've always been attracted to ass. And now because I've had so much ass in my life, and by the way, like because I haven't gone hiking with Rachel now, my mom warned me when she saw Rachel. She's like, that ass is only going to get bigger. And I'm like, don't threaten me with a good time. And the ass got much smaller, actually. But now
moms aren't always right.
Yeah, moms aren't. I was just like, hey, what do you... It's the Catholic... I feel like it's like Spanish Catholic moms are just like, I thought I was going to end up fucking him. I'm sorry. I didn't understand what was going to... I think it's a Spanish Catholic thing where just like moms have this really fucked up. There's a weird like cousins like kiss on the lips and shit like that.
Yeah.
And my cousins are all really hot, so I had a skewed understanding when I was a small child. I was just like, dude, I'm gonna end up fucking all my cousins. They're so great. But I didn't, and I haven't.
That's good.
And
I would chalk that up as positive.
I feel like if my cousins saw this, they'd be like, yeah, I knew he felt that way.
Yeah.
But
or you could get a call from one. And they're like, it's never too late.
Well, they're a little older now.
Yeah, but what if they heard the first part? They know you're in an open relationship. They thought you were booed up this whole time. And now
they're
they
like,
got a shot.
we're not making babies. I mean, we're not committing any crimes against nature or anything like that. But now I feel like I've had a lot of ass, and I'm just really ready for titties.
Okay, new era.
I'm really ready. You know, we're always changing. We're evolving.
I get it. I'm a titties guy.
You're a titties guy. I feel like tall guys are always titties guys because you have an above view.
Dude, you took those words out of my mouth. That was scary. Because you were sitting here and you were giving this very like thoughtful, intricate reason for why you were an ass man. And I was like, well, why am I a titties man? And I was like, do I get to see him more? And I go, oh, well, I'm always just staring down at them. And I go, it has to. And then you said that, and I was like, get the fuck out of my head right now. Yeah, dude, I think that's why is like not even in a creepy way, but like unless I'm talking to like a 6 foot or above girl, I'm just kind of looking down at you and if they're out, them, you know what I mean? And so yeah, but I mean also like as much as I say that, like I mean a nice ass is always great, but it's can't go wrong with either.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with it. I mean, just I've never had like a preference with I don't have like a type of woman that I go after, but I always have a type of woman that I end up with. And they're like about the same height, the same build, and they're always like sex addicts. I don't know.
Yeah, Erica says that I like, cause I mean like all these people I've been with before her, but then like now because we've just been dating so long, is this girl hot? Yeah, like she says I like short, circle-faced women with dark hair.
Short, circle-faced women.
And
with
then I
dark
went,
hair.
oh my god, all I've dated is short-faced circle women with long hair, except like one girl who was a tall blonde, and we lasted like 3 months.
I found that in my life, the same way that asses and I have been attracted to each other, I've been titty repellent.
Okay, yeah.
Like to the point where I've dated 2 women who had big titties while I wasn't with them, and then as soon as we got together, their titties like went away.
Scared them?
Like I scared them away.
Yeah.
It's like tittyphobic, like hydrophilic and hydrophobic.
Yeah.
Like I'm.
Because I know what those words mean.
I'm a titty.
I don't.
Yeah. Okay.
What do they mean?
Hydrophilic is any chemical property that likes water and absorbs water.
Okay.
And hydrophobic is like oil, where it won't mix with water.
Okay. Now I get it.
Yeah.
I like kind of knew that, but just in dumber words.
You're titophilic and I'm titophobic.
I like it. Okay. Yeah.
I'm not afraid of titties. Just
That's gonna be the name of the is Titophillic and Titophobic. Episode 64, Titophillic, Titophobic with Gino Riccardi.
And it's not that I don't like them; it's that I repel them.
Yeah, this is a science, an anatomy, a life podcast. You guys are fucking welcome for all the knowledge we dropped on you.
We're learning things, or we tuned out a half hour.
Someone, yeah. They either stopped listening a long time ago, or someone's gonna be at a bar in a couple months and be like, "Girl, I must be tittyphilic because your titties are attracting me."
They're gonna use it. They're like, "Dude, I'm footophilic."
Yeah, they're gonna get laid because of us.
Assophilic. Yeah.
They're gonna message me. I'm gonna make them Venmo you $5.
Like you owe Gino a royalty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you wouldn't have learned it otherwise. Yeah.
Royalties on records and getting laid. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, man. We're gonna wrap the podcast up here. I want to give you a second to by the time this comes out, you should now have your own podcast out, right? Anything else to promote the floor is yours.
Yeah, so we got the show once a month. This month's show is going to be on June 23rd, downtown Santa Ana, outside Congregation Ale House. It's going to be a really great lineup. Eric Escobar is going to be there, and John Yabez, Alyssa Petit, and some other people. And I'm sorry if you hear this and then you're like, why didn't he say my name? I'm on that show. And that's how they would sound if they said that.
Yeah.
But it's always a great show. It's always a great time. And my podcast, The Last Word with an E, because I'm original.
I like it.
Word, W-E-R-D, The Last Word. And who knows? The whole thing about my podcast is that like, if you hear the first episode, like I'm trying to brand. I'm like, okay, I'm trying to brand and I'm trying to win you over, unabashedly, unashamedly. And so my brand, what's my brand? Like, I wear fancy shoes and I fuck hookers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm bougie and I'm trash. I'm bougie trash.
Yeah, I like it.
I like to talk about smart shit, and I also like to talk about Disney movies. And like how am I supposed to like pinpoint one thing that I am? So that's kind of a lot of like what I talk about and get into. And if you want to be on my podcast, just let me know, because I would love to be able to shut up for like 1 minute at a time.
Yeah.
Instead of having to talk on end. So The Last Word. It's going to be on Spotify and everywhere podcasts are found, or at least that's what Anchor tells me.
Yeah. Anchor is. I do Anchor too.
You do Anchor too?
Yeah. They seem to put everything on. If you.
Yeah. So by next week I'll have recorded my 3rd episode, and then I'll let everybody know that I have a podcast, and hopefully people like it.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Go. Make sure you guys go and check that out. Follow him on Instagram. It'll be in the bio.
Oh yeah. Follow Green Room at Green Room Comedy on Instagram. And also me at bad motherfucker named Gino. And just if you can't get the whole thing, just type in @badmotherfucker and name Gino will pop up.
Yeah, if you guys are struggling to, just go back to the podcast that you're listening right now to, and in the bio I'll have a link to all of his Instagrams, everything you guys need and all that. But is that all you got to promote?
Yeah. Oh, also my book, Red Fish, Blue Fish, F Fish, U Fish.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna be putting out a song real soon called Rich Dick.
I'm excited.
Yeah, and also me and Ray are working on another book called Doucherella, and it is what it sounds like.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, go check out his stuff. Go see the shows they got in Santa Ana every month. They're fun, a killer time. You'll enjoy them. Check out his podcast. Make sure you follow him on all platforms. Guys, thank you so much for listening. If this is your first time or your 64th time listening, I appreciate you. This episode, like I said, a few things might be a little behind on topics, but this will be coming out next week on June 10th, June 9th, or something like that. When I'm in Texas, so no new gigs, nothing like that to promote. Make sure you guys rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. And most importantly, thank you for letting us be your last resort. See ya.
This has been a Your Last Resort production.